Hello, everybody out there. If you are watching this live or if you're watching the video, I hope that you enjoy the following interview. We've got Alex here from Falchion Games. Uh,
We,
he he is the creative director, and they are currently working on Go to Hell Day, which is a PC game. From my understanding, it's already on Steam Greenlight,
yep,
and you guys are kind of contemplating the idea of doing a Kickstarter project.
yep,
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, tell me something. Tell me a little bit about Go to Hell Day.
yep. Go Tell Dave, it's a classic old school point and click game, similar to the likes of Monkey Island, Broken Sword, Day of the Tentacle, uh, Zack McCracken and the Early Mindbenders, Grim Fandango. If you ever played any of them old style point and click games where you have to find an item, you have to use it in a specific situation, you have to chat to the right person, and it's all quite silly. With it's You follow the story of Dave, who is an average Joe who was driving with his girlfriend to the supermarket. Uh, she started stroking his leg, and that caused him to crash the car. They both died in the car crash, got sent to hell, and now he's working his way through the 9 floors of hell to try and find her. But hell's not really the traditional hell in the sense. We've taken a lot from the book Dante's Inferno, so the whole fire and brimstone, a lot of the names of the demons, a lot of the locations, a lot of the ideologies that everyone thinks of hell, like everything that you ever see in films and any depiction of hell, even in stuff like God of War, a lot of it comes from these old texts. And if you ever read Dante's Inferno, it's like some of the pictures are ridiculously gory.
Right.
So we take some of that, and then we mix it in with a bit of British culture, a bit of take a lot of inspiration from British comedy stuff like Monty Python, Blackadder, Red Dwarf,
Mhm.
Spaced, even stuff like The Office. It's kind of, you play a sane person in an insane world. The main character Dave, he's very sarcastic in what he does. He's very much like, I compare him a lot to the character Archer in the FX series.
Mhm.
He pretty much he takes everything in his stride. He's not a strong man, but he's just like, really? Do I have to do that now? Are you sure? I'm sure I've got something better to do. But he's not that bothered. Like, some people might panic if they're in hell, but he's just like, whatever. I'll deal with that when it comes to it.
I got you. I got you.
And
Now, real quick, you said that I believe that you said that you took the 9 floors out of Dante's Inferno, but you put your own twist to it. So, are we going to see the same like level names, or have you come up with something creative and unique about each one of those 9 levels?
well, they all have a completely different theme, and some levels are going to play completely differently.
Mhm.
We've even had ideas that, providing we can do it, to have like completely different mechanics, like change the controls around and stuff like that. But
Okay.
for instance, if we take the first level is it's based around kind of a council estate, um, a suburbs, I think you'd call it in
Hmm.
America,
Yeah.
kind of quite a rough neighborhood, and you have and well, it starts off at the gates of hell, which you would think would be these massive wrought iron gates, but instead it's a nightclub called Abandon All Hope, because according to mythology, above the gates of hell it says, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter." So we kind of took a bit of mythology and mixed it.
Hmm.
So there's outside a strip club, and then adjacent to that is a burger bar, because people still need to eat in hell. Um, then once you get into the nightclub, there's a lot of unusual characters, a few gangsters knocking about, some quite very strong, passionate characters. Of course, a few strippers, because it's a strip bar.
Right.
You go outside there, and you have kind of like a town square, and you have a monument to the he almighty devil, because he's their god essentially.
Hmm.
And then you have a level that we're calling the nerd basement, which is going to be quite cool. It's going to be a complex version of Dungeons and Dragons, but not really about Dungeons or Dragons, more about nerd culture in general. So stuff like, you get beaten up by a bully, you have to roll a dice to run away from him, and stuff like that, but just
Okay.
like a bit silly. Then we have an old English pub, and then we have my favourite area, which is a desert wasteland, and inside the desert there's the Grim Reaper, and he's sunbathing. And the Grim Reaper he's a bit like a used car salesman.
Mm-hmm.
He's when Dave goes and speaks to him, he's just like, I'm off the reaping and onto the relaxing, and he's very old school. He's sat there with a little mojito and sunbathing with a Walkman.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last level, this is all in one level, and then the last area of this first level is going to be it's an upturned Titanic ship that has been converted into an art gallery. All this stuff is on our Facebook. Just search "Go Tell Dave." You can't go wrong.
Okay.
But it's an upturned Titanic ship, and each floor is like an art gallery,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a lot of quite risque pictures. So we have one of Hitler riding a cow,
Mm-hmm.
and we have another mini game that's pinned the mustache on the Stalin, and Pol Pot's sunglasses, because Pol Pot's famously killed people who he thought were intelligent, and how he judged if they're intelligent or not was if they wore glasses. So we thought sunglasses was quite a good one. And yeah, that's pretty much the first area. Once you've solved all the puzzles, then you take a lift down to the next area. We just thought it was a good way of traversing between the different areas, and
Okay.
it makes it nice and easy. But yeah.
So, from the description you just gave me, it sounds like this game could possibly be massive.
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
to quote Tim Schafer, I think we designed too much game.
Right. So I'm assuming that you're trying to use Kickstarter to kind of help keep that massiveness funded, so that you can see the whole project, right?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. Like we're not certain on Kickstarter. Like we're looking at other revenues. We're still looking at publishers and stuff like that. And
Right.
we've got a few connections within the game industry now. It's just at least it's an option for us.
Mm-hmm.
The major issue with the reason we need the funding is one. Myself and Ben, we're not voice actors, so we need to pay voice actors.
Right.
And secondly, we're not artists, and we can't draw. Like I can design stuff, but I can't physically draw it, so we have to pay them. All the other jobs we can do ourselves, which saves us a lot of money and time. But as a two-man group, there's only so much we can do. Like
Right.
I'm doing jobs that I've never done before. Like I'm doing this and that, and it's just like, really, I'm not the best person to do this, but it's on a need basis. That and the whole scope of it, like it's been 12 months and we're still working on a playable demo. It's gone a lot slower than I thought it would do, but it's not surprising really. It's just the way it is. But we're getting there. Hopefully getting a playable demo to the public soon. I just need to sort out a bit of voice acting because we want it to be, well, no different to any polished game you would get on Steam, like anything, like any of the adventure games. Like we wanted voice acting to make it stand out, and we want to have the demo out so people can try before they buy. Like I've backed a few Kickstarter projects myself, and kind of you're giving them the money in faith.
Yeah.
But at least with a demo, people can play it, and if they don't like it, then that's fine. I'm not forcing you to buy it, but you kind of know. But if you do like it, you can expect more of it, and we can build more of it. It's a game for people like myself would play. But anyway.
So you said voice acting. Are you looking to have your entire game voiced, or just specific important characters?
No, every character will be voiced. Every action will have a reaction. That's kind of at the moment. I'd love it so that he has like unique animations for everything as well. But there's only so many man hours in a day. So at the moment, he kind of doesn't. He has some generic ones that you can mix and match. But we've got some quite interesting ones planned. Like if we've got a video on our Facebook at the moment that just shows very much the opening of the game. But all the story with Sharon in the car, that's going to be all in like a panelled comic book that will all be animated, and it's the artwork for that is awesome. And I don't know, like I just think it's a good way of introducing people to the game rather than just like straight up to the gameplay. Because I'm very much in the old style of game design. I used to like it when you play a game and you get up to a certain point, and your reward would be the cutscene. You get to you go, okay, I just done this really hard bit. I'll just relax, watch a cutscene. not many games do that anymore. Like, I was playing Gears of War the other day, and it's just like they just throw in cutscenes, and I'm just like, why was that a cutscene? That could have been in game and stuff like that. But that's just
Yep.
personal preference.
No, I'm in total agreement with you. There's certain games where I feel that they just throw in cutscenes just because they didn't want to have you deal with or them deal with the animations required to like basically cross the street
Mm.
while there's like things whizzing by in certain games. It's ridiculous how many corners some of these companies cut.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can, and then on the flip side, there's other games like that kind of go over the top, like Metal Gear. Like, I love the gameplay, but
Yeah,
you can be sat there for like 2 hours watching a cutscene, and it's a very delicate balance. But I do like the idea of having cutscene as a reward, and
mhm.
hopefully, if I can still get my artists involved, I'll be able to have that like more often than just the first one and the end one, of course. But
Right,
it's a lot of it's speculation, if I'm honest.
right. So are you guys just exclusively let's put it on the PC and how and see how it does, or is there any thought of already looking into the future for other platforms?
Well, our primary target is PC and Mac.
Hmm.
We like to, pretty much, PC is a must. Like, if anyone's making a game, you kind of start with PC as the build.
Right.
Um, and we kind of think it's a good starting place. It's not everyone's making smartphone games at the moment. We might port it to smartphones later on, but there's just so many of them. I don't really want to compete because I don't. There's not as much involved on the PC. But I've there's a possibilities of going to other places. Like, I'm chatting to someone at the moment who's from PlayStation, so
Hmm.
that'd be cool. I could. It's just it's a whole different ball game for us, really. I've honestly never developed a game for PlayStation or Xbox, and
Hmm.
that's going to have its own set of challenges. Um, re, Whereas Steam Greenlight and Steam and PC, it's simple enough, really. As long as we get through on our Steam Greenlight page, then we're good to go. It's a straight exe. You just double click on it and the game's ready. If only it was that easy on consoles, but I imagine
Right.
it's not.
No. You know, honestly, I think that Steam has a great system with the Greenlight program. For those who are watching either live or this recording, definitely go to Steam Greenlight. It is Go to Hell Dave. You could just search for it on the Greenlight page and just give it a thumbs up. Um, but
Or leave a comment if you have any suggestions for what you think should be in hell. Like, we love hearing from you guys.
yeah,
Like, when we started, we didn't even think of language support and stuff like that, but a lot of people were asking for it and saying we want this language and that language. And
hmm,
yeah, to be honest, like, if we don't know, let us know.
right.
It's a big thing for you.
And I also think, and personally, this is my opinion. I think that PC is definitely a strong platform to get your first game out on because with the smartphones and even to some extent Xbox and PlayStation, you're looking at an environment that can be polluted and there's no real good structure to have your game showcased. Where Steam Greenlight, they give you a better chance of being seen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming that since this is a point-click adventure and that your um, need for nostalgia with the Broken Sword, Grim Fandango, all those games, I'm assuming that this is probably one of your more favorite genres of games.
Yeah, definitely. Like, but I don't know, like, I find it really difficult when people always keep pose the question, "What's your favorite game?" And also people are always the same, like, with consoles, and I'm just like, for starters, consoles, I don't care. I like games. I play games on Xbox, PS3,
Yep.
PS1 is my favorite console. But I was looking back at uh, like a video of 100 Amiga games, and it's like, oh, so many classic games that I used to play that on the Sega Mega Drive.
Hmm.
But point and click games, yes, it's always been had a soft point for me. I grew up on stuff like Broken Sword and Zack McCracken Alien Mindbenders, and some ones that I can't even remember on the Amiga. Like,
Hmm.
I was a little kid when I was playing them. stuff like also Discworld and stuff like that. But I love all games. Like I'd say probably sports is my least favorite, but I can still hold my own in a football game or a racing game or you name it.
Well, actually, I like that answer a lot better than most people because, in all honesty, I think that a developer needs not to focus in on one game, but love games in general because there's so many mechanics and in different types of genres that you can then incorporate into the genre that you're making a game for, and sometimes it's something that no one's ever thought of, and then just to put yourself, oh yeah, I'm only a first-person shooter guy,
Yeah.
And then you attempt to do like a puzzle game. That's a little weird.
I do, like, a lot of times I find myself going back to, because I've got literally hundreds of PS1 games, and I love my PS1 games, but I find myself every now and again, after I play a few PS3 games, I go back to them, and I'm just like, wow, this game is really well designed. I've been playing the original Rayman, and it is such a difficult game, but it's very clever. There's no real tutorial. It just, when you start playing the game, every now and again it gives you a new mechanic, and then you kind of learn the mechanic over time, and then it gives you a new one, and then they all bundle together until you're like this awesome Rayman who can do everything. But it's all procedural. It doesn't throw it all at once, and it doesn't have to give you a control schematic. And I hate hand-holding tutorials where it's just like, oh, push the left stick to move. It's like, come on, like you can look at the controller, but I'm very much, and I will stamp it on the ground. I think games are much easier than they used to be. I think there are some hard games, no question. Like I've been playing Catherine, and that game is solid, and I love it.
Yeah.
And also like the newer release of Ikaruga and Demon Souls and all them sort of games. They're still hard games, but when people's going, oh, hard games, if you try playing Halo on hard, and it's like, please try and get past level 5 on Rayman and come back to me, because that sort of stuff makes you rip your hair out.
Right. I totally agree. I think that, to be honest with you, I think games have dumbed themselves down a lot over the years just so that they can draw more people in. I mean, I've got some original NES games that to this day I still can't beat.
Yeah.
And like if I could put anything into the Xbox or the PlayStation, I'm eventually going to beat it. But there's one game for the NES called Faxanadu that I could never beat. Well, there's also one that's just, I think the mechanics are crap, but it's probably because I can't play the game. But it's called Magician for the NES, and I couldn't even get past like the first eighth of the game. So,
like if you look back at stuff like some of the Sega Mega Drive games, like stuff like Streets of Rage and Golden Axe, they were hard games, but the more you played it, the further you would get until you completed it. Can you imagine buying a game now that is hard to complete? There's not many. Like, I haven't heard any of my friends go, oh, I got this brand new game, I can't complete it, it's too hard. Like, it just doesn't happen. But in the olden days, because it extended from the arcade scene where you'd be paying money to play the game again and again, it was harder. But on the flip side, there is a positive to it, because it's getting some people into games and that wouldn't have played them normally. I can talk to my mum about games. Like I got her on, she loved the Professor Layton game, so I got her a DS and she was playing that, and I think that's cool. Like getting new gamers playing. It's just finding the right balance and stuff like that.
I agree. Speaking of balance, what do you think? What do you think about the moves that these bigger name companies are making towards more multiplayer games and less of a single player experience, where they're using the single player as more of a tutorial, and then the bulk of the game is the multiplayer?
I've always, well, it's similar to what you're on about, but I was chatting today that I miss having 4 friends round and we'd all play a game together, like 4-player multiplayer and stuff like that.
Right.
Now it's just like, you want to play a game? I'll see you on Xbox Live in an hour, and you don't go around people's houses. I think that's a crying shame. And less developers are supporting split screen and multiplayer. I've got a projector, so I'm just like, yeah, I can have as many people as I want on my And I was glad when Grid 2 came out that they finally put split screen in, and I play that game all the time now. And it's that important to me. Like, if it didn't have split screen, I wasn't going to buy that game, and I
Right.
don't know if I'm the only one who feels that way. As regard to single player being kind of a tutorial, I think on some games it is good. Like, if you look at I was a big fan of StarCraft back in the day, but
Mm-hmm.
same with StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2, essentially, the campaign is a tutorial on how to play the game,
Right.
but it kind of has to be because online is ridiculously difficult because you played against Koreans and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like some of them, I think some publishers are afraid to make purely single player games. That's like why you have multiplayer tacked onto games like Duke Nukem and Bioshock and Tomb Raider. Really don't need a multiplayer section.
Right.
There's multiplayer in Tomb Raider, right? I haven't played it.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure there is, yeah. Um, and Uncharted as well. I don't think there's any need to have a multiplayer aspect in that. So you can have a whole selection of games that are focused on multiplayer. I think Call of Duty and Halo are brilliant games for multiplayer. Like, yeah, they're the mainstream ones, and everyone's like, oh, Call of Duty is rubbish. But no, it serves a need. If you want to get a bit of aggression out and shoot some people, then it serves that need. But if you want to get involved in a story personally, I'd play a single player role playing game or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't see why they have to. I don't know. I suppose you could call it like GTA syndrome, where the game thinks I have to have everything in it, and not all of them can do it. Like, apart from GTA, which will have everything in it, and it will be very pretty and killing prostitutes.
Yeah. No, you're right. There are some odd games out there that have multiplayer that don't really need it. One of the games, a brilliantly made game that I just recently finished for the PlayStation 3 was Last of Us, and that has a multiplayer aspect. And
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it either until someone told me after I'd beaten the game and handed it off to one of my buddies. They're like, "Oh yeah, there's a multiplayer." I'm like, didn't even register. I mean, why? Why would there be a multiplayer in that?
Unless, like, the only thing I could see that I wish they would do more with that sort of game.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it kind of changes the whole game, but having co-op multiplayer would be interesting. Like, I was playing Saints Row 2 the other day, and that was online co-op, and I think that's quite cool having an online co-op GTA kind of game.
Right.
I'm all for co-op. I love co-op. I don't think there's enough co-op games. I always say there's not enough games that a husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend can play together. I think there's no one hitting that market. I'm not saying I'm not, because point and click games are single player.
Right. Well,
I don't know how you. It would be interesting. I don't know how you go about a multiplayer one.
Well, to be honest with you, I know that that point and click adventures are single player games, but when I was growing up, I mean, my dad would be playing like all of the King's Quest, and I would be sitting there, basically as a backseat driver to the experience. So in a way, it was co-op when it wasn't.
No, that's like, I say I'm the same. I've got one on the PSN that's on XBLA as well. That's called Red Johnson Chronicles, and it's a modern point and click game. It's really cool. Like, you can get the demo. But like, there's some of the puzzles on that are really difficult, and I kind of called all my housemates around. I'm just like, come on, we can work this out together. And it was just like, okay, well that's that. And I had one person doing the maths, and then I was doing the logic side, and it was just like, eventually we got there. And yeah, that's cool. Like, same with stuff like Heavy Rain. I think that's very much a spectator game. Someone can be playing it, and the other people can be watching it. I know there's not much gameplay. It's kind of a glorified cutscene.
I love that game so much, but I only was able to play it once, and it killed me because I had everybody till the very end, and then lost everyone but like 2. That would hurt.
I kind of just liked being a bit of a rubbish father with the dad character. I was just being a dick all the way through it just to see what would happen.
Right. Okay, so you've been working 12 months on this game, and I'm sure that you would like to get it finished sooner than later. It is exclusively on the PC, and you're looking at the Mac. It's currently on Steam Greenlight. So once again, if you guys are watching out there, definitely hit it up. It's got a video on there. It's got some screenshots, and then also go to their website. It's on Ultra Confusion, but also You can grab it from the Facebook page, so you can learn more information about it. Yeah.
One thing, the video on our Steam Greenlight is very old.
Okay.
The game looks nothing like that now. If you look at the screenshots, that's the
Mhm.
kind of backgrounds and stuff we're working with. The problem is I haven't made a new trailer until we've got all the assets in. I don't
Right.
want to make a half trailer. So at the moment the video's old and it's got old animations in. I don't even think it's got dialogue in. It's a bit of a joke, the
All
old one. But
right.
we've got a new one on our Facebook, but it's very short.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's see. Do I have any other questions for you? Sadly, I don't. Um, I do want to point out for everybody who is watching and for those who are going to be watching the video that you have a Twitter handle that's Go to Hell Dave.
Yeah,
Uh,
everything goes to hell, Dave.
okay. Facebook is Go to Hell Dave. Once again, this is Alex, the creative director from Falchion Games. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to have this interview. We at Ultra Confusion wish you the best. Definitely keep us in the loop of anything that is upcoming. If there's any huge, crazy things that do come up, please hit us up. We would love to do another interview with you. But until then, best of luck with all of your endeavors. And yeah, we can't wait to see the finished product.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to show it to you. Have
All right,
people
awesome.
playing it.
Good. Good, good, good. Well, thank you again. And for those watching, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you soon.